Hello, good day, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the podcast From Zero to Hero. Today, I'm your host, Tony Mudd, and I am super thrilled that you have decided to join me. You could be doing anything else with your time right now, but yet you're here listening to Zero to Hero podcast. And remember that this podcast is all about becoming the best version of yourself, whether it's at work, in your career, your relationship, or just in general. You know, you're trying to get the most out of life by pushing yourself to grow. That's what this podcast is all about. And before we get started, I would like to scream a huge shout out to some of our amazing sponsors. First up is Safe Touch Family Counseling Center in Louisville, Kentucky. They are doing extremely incredible work helping friends and families in the community deal with trauma, deal with grief, and also deal with sexual abuse within the community. So if you know someone that's looking for some mental health treatment or just needs somebody to talk to, please reach out to Safe Touch Family Counseling Center in Louisville, Kentucky. And our next sponsor, I have Goodies Banana Pudding, which is the best banana pudding and honey glazed donuts that I've ever had in my life. If you are a person who's a snack person or you look for sweet treats, please give them a try and try them out. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and move forward with today's discussion in the podcast. So today we're going to talk about something that is a bit unusual and a little unconventional. We're going to talk about how to lead from the bottom, especially whether you're in the workplace or in your community. How do you lead from the bottom? You know, when you think about it, there are many times in our lives and in many situations where we're put in situations where we have to lead from the bottom. And when you think about when you start a new job or you join a new organization or even in your own community, you may not necessarily know all the right people and be connected to all the right people or have all the influence that you're looking for yet. And you may not even know exactly what to do. So how do you lead when you are starting at the bottom, when you are starting from scratch? And I tell you that this is one of the most powerful skills that you can learn, whether it's in your career, whether it's in your community, or just your own personal, leading your own personal life, leading yourself. How do you lead from the bottom? And one of the biggest reasons that I have brought this question up today and why I'm talking about this is that a lot of times I hear so many people get frustrated, in the workplace, and you see the frustration on their face and in their appearance. And a lot of times they feel powerless at work or even in their own community. And I hear people say, I feel invisible at work. I feel like my manager does not value me. I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel appreciated for the things that I bring to the table. And sometimes I hear people even say that if they were in charge, they would do things differently. And this may have some truth, but my message to them is that you don't need a title to make a difference. You can lead from anywhere you are at any moment. All you need to learn is how to lead from the bottom. That's why I always tell people you have to master the skill of leading from the bottom. For a long time, I used to think that leadership flowed from the top down. And like many people probably think that leadership comes from a person who's above and it goes down to the person who's at the bottom. But that's not always true. A lot of time, leadership often rises from the bottom. From the people who are closest to the problem, the people who understand the problems best, and the people who put the work in to fix the problem. And that may be you. And I know what that's all about. Now, leading from the bottom, one thing I want to clear up is that leading from the bottom does not mean that you're trying to take over or disrupt what your leaders put in place. It's all about, and it's not about telling your supervisor what to do or telling your leader what to do or even crossing some kind of crazy boundary lines and getting yourself fired or receiving some type of punishment. It's about becoming a reliable and proactive part of the team that you're helping your leader succeed so you're succeeding. Because the truth is, when you support your leader in reaching their goals, you're setting your own self up and the people around you for more success. A lot of times I tell people that leadership is about two things. When you break leadership down, it's about two things. Leadership is about solving problems and influence. It's not about your title. It's not about your salary. It's not about who you know. It comes down to one question. Can you solve problems? Can you solve problems for the people that you care about? Can you solve problems for the people that are around you? Can you solve the problems that can make a difference? These are the truth of a real leader. And I also used to wonder a lot of times what requirements does a leader have to have? What makes someone a leader? What do they read? What qualifies them? Who do they have to know? What type of experiences do they have to go through in life to become a leader? And I summed it down to one thing. The only qualification that I see a person who is leading from the bottom is their ability to be able to solve a problem in a way to where it positively impacts the people around them. The only qualification is to solve problems that positively influence the people around you. And, one of the biggest challenges that I see today is that I don't see enough people leading from the bottom. Many people feel like they're too low to make a difference. They don't have enough skills. They're missing something to make a difference. But that's simply not true. You can make an impact without a title, without a PhD, without a ranking role. Real leadership and influence can start anywhere, and it usually starts from the bottom. And think about it this way. If you're building something strong, you start with the foundation, right? That's the first place that you want to start. You want to start with the bottom. You want to start with the roots. And the main problem is that a lot of people want to skip the bottom and go straight to the top. But you need the lessons that you will learn at the bottom to know how to operate when you're at the top. So the real question is how do you do this? How do you lead from the bottom? How do you lead when you're starting at scratch, right? And so I have a few tips for you here today, some practical advice and some practical tips to help you lead from the bottom. The first tip that I have for you today, and this is a big one. What are you reading? What are you digesting? Are you staying curious and are you continuing to learn? Real leaders read. And I tell people this all the time. Real leaders are reading. Real leaders are activating their mind at all times. The truth is, if you want to lead others, you must first lead yourself. You must first learn how to lead yourself. And that starts with feeding your mind. What are you feeding your mind on an active daily basis? What is going in your brain? What is going in your spirit? What is going into your energy? A curious mind isn't just a bonus. It's essential when you're learning how to lead from the bottom. It surprises me how many people in high-ranking positions, managers, supervisors, and even active leaders who have stopped learning, who have stopped reading. Before I build any relationship with a new friend, a new colleague, or a new business partner, the first thing that I ask them when being introduced to them is, what are you reading? What are you digesting? Because this shows me their own commitment for self-discovery and for self-growth to make sure that they're still motivated and they're still growing in their role, because there's things for them to learn how to lead themselves and to lead the people around them. So the one question that I'm always asking people is, what are you reading? Leaders who read stay open to change, they're adaptable, and they're mentally agile. When you're continuing to learn, you can bring fresh ideas to the table, you can think critically, and you start to have empathy at the table. You bring empathy to the table. Leading from the bottom starts with challenging and nurturing your own mind. And it also equips you to find some new solutions and foster genuine connections with people, and that ignites real change. So make it a habit to invest in yourself every single day. Whether you are reading a book, whether you are reading an article, whether you are reading a journal, whatever it is, make sure that you're investing in yourself, okay? And you're reading every day, so you're adding value to yourself every single day as an individual leader leading your own life, and also as a leader of people. Make sure that you're doing that. That's tip number one. Now, tip number two is specifically for people who are in the workplace. Okay. The second thing that you have to do when you are learning how to lead from the bottom, okay, understand the company that you work for. Okay. Understand the company that you work for. It is easy to see your workplace as just a job. But to lead from the bottom, you need to understand the full landscape of what you're dealing with. This goes beyond knowing your role and your team members. Make it your mission to learn the ins and outs of your company. Learn your company history, your company's mission, the leadership, and most importantly, you have to learn the pain points of your company. Okay? You have to learn who the decision makers are. You have to learn what the big issues are of the company, what's keeping leadership up at night. When you truly understand your company's heartbeat, you can see where you can make a difference, even if it's a small difference. Take a deep dive into reading some of the internal reports, attending company-wide meetings, and even asking leaders, what is their vision for the company? What is their vision for the company? What is their vision for the people? If you know what drives the company, you can align your own efforts, your own goals for a bigger purpose. When you can anticipate the needs of the company and the leaders, you are no longer just an employee. You are becoming a valuable part of the company's vision, which means that you're not easily replaceable. You become an invaluable partner in the company. They look to you to drive solutions, make change, and also allow you to weigh in on the company's future. You become the invaluable partner in the company instead of just an employee. So when you're thinking about this in the workplace, remember, okay, you have to know the full landscape of what you're dealing with. And that it requires taking a deep dive and becoming an insider and learning the truth about your company, the ins and outs, the pain points, the leadership, and trying to see how you can apply yourself to bring some great solutions to drive some real change within the workplace. So let's move to number 3. Tip number 3 that I have for you for becoming a leader, when you're starting at the bottom. Number 3. Bring solutions, not just problems. Bring solutions, not just problems. Okay? You have to shift your mindset to become a creator's mindset. I can't tell you how often people complain. It seems like every day somebody has a new complaint or something, or they're finding something wrong about something. This is not right. That ain't right. This ain't true. That's not true. And true leaders don't just identify problems. They take ownership and bring solutions. We live in a world that's quick to complain, but slow to create. This is where you can stand out. Think of every issue that you see as an invitation to create, improve, and contribute. Create, improve, and contribute. Don't say that this is broken or that is broken. Instead, ask yourself, how can I make this better? This type of mindset moves you from a passive observer to an active contributor in your own community, in your own workplace. To be honest, a lot of people are afraid to provide real solutions. And I've been thinking about this for a while. A lot of people are afraid to provide real solutions. And I've been thinking about why that is. And one of the biggest reasons that I've thought about that is because solutions require work, and work requires sacrifice. And what is one thing that a lot of people are afraid of? They're afraid of work. And they're afraid of work because it requires sacrifice. And sacrifice requires you to give up something. So a lot of people like to run and hide and play small and run away from their own destiny. Many times people run from solutions because they think that they're the only person who is assigned to that task, and that's not true. This is where you ask for help. You build collaboration. You bring other people in. This is where you speak up. Okay? And also, while we're talking about this topic, one thing that you do not want to be is what I call an assignment dumper. An assignment dumper. These are people who complain and assign tasks to other people to fix those problems. Ooh, you don't want to be that person. You have to be the person that's taking ownership and being an active part in creating and implementing the solutions for change. That's what you have to be. Okay? Solutions don't have to be complex. They don't have to be really big. They can even be small, thoughtful suggestions that demonstrate that you're committed to making a positive impact no matter where you are in the company, no matter where you are in the community. Be bold in suggesting new ideas and don't worry about if it's perfect. Okay? Don't worry about if it's perfect because not everything is perfect. The act of merely showing up with solutions signals to others that you're not just thinking of the problems, but you're invested in creating solutions that help them make progress. This approach builds trust and shows others, including your leaders, that you're someone who is proactive, committed, and ready to drive some real change wherever you are with whatever you have. Okay, so you have to remember that. Okay, bring real solutions to the table, not just problems when you're building from the bottom. Tip number 4. Okay, be a person of influence, not a person of authority. Lead by trust, not by title. Lead by trust, not by the title that you were assigned. Influence goes beyond your title. It goes beyond your positions. Think of influence as a quiet force that makes people want to follow you because they see your integrity. They see your character. They see your consistency. They see your commitment to others for wanting to help them grow. Leading by influence means that you're showing up with a positive attitude. You're showing up early. You're helping people without expecting credit. And you're holding yourself accountable to the same standards that you want to see in other people. That's what leading with influence means. When you model the values of respect, when you model values that you respect, people start to notice, even your leaders. When you respect others, your reliability and your genuine care for other people, that makes your leaders pay attention to you, no matter what your role is, because you start to build empathy. So when you are leading from the bottom, you want to build influence. And the best way to build influence is not by using your title, not by using your position. It is by using your character. Using your character, leading by trust, building trust, having that positive attitude, showing up on time and ready to help out. That is what it's all about. That's tip number 4. So let's move to tip number 5. And one that I truly enjoy, okay? Tip number 5, when you are leading from the bottom, this is a big one. Be ready for this, y'all. Understand the power of the silent influence. Understand the power of the silent influence. You know, there are so many successful and powerful people in the world who we will never even know that put into practice the power of silent influence, which means that they work behind the scenes. Think about your favorite movie or your favorite TV show, and think about how many people it took to make that 90-minute video. And if it wasn't for the credits that came up after the video had ended, we would never even know who played a role in making this video so great. And that's the power of silent influence, because true leadership does not need a spotlight. True leadership does not need a spotlight. Silent influence is all about being a supportive force that uplifts others without seeking credit. It's about allowing other people to shine, sharing success, and it's also about working diligently behind the scene. This selfless form of influence creates a ripple effect that can change an entire team's dynamic. When you focus on quietly improving others, you earn their respect, you earn their trust. In other words, that words cannot replicate. This type of leadership is the most memorable because it's based on humility, not self-promotion. Okay? Silent leaders often are the ones that a lot of people remember the most, and a lot of times because these are unselfish acts that they're doing, and their steady presence is something that everybody can rely on. They are someone who they are someone who's willing to share the recognition, okay? And they are also someone who's willing to put the team first. So if you are trying to lead from the bottom and you are building yourself up to lead from the bottom, you have to practice silent influence. All right, so that moves us to number 6, which is our last tip of the day, okay? So tip number 6, seek to understand, not to be understood. Seek to understand, not to be understood. We live in a world where everybody wants to be heard, but nobody is listening anymore. Nobody is listening into each other anymore. Everybody has a statement. Everybody has something that they want to say. Everybody is speaking up, but nobody is listening. Nobody is taking notes. Nobody is following up. The greatest leaders aren't the ones who talk the most. The greatest leaders are the ones who listen best. Think about your leaders right now, whether you're in the workplace or in your community. Ask yourself, how well do they listen? How well do they listen to you? How well do they listen to the people around them? How well do they listen to their colleagues? How well do they pay attention? How well do they do these things? When you focus on truly understanding others, whether it's their motivations, it's their frustrations, it's their perspectives, you build a foundation of trust and empathy that is unshakable. Plus, you can start to identify the problems that they're having to help create some real solutions and drive some change. You must approach each conversation every single day that you're having with another person with curiosity instead of judgment. Okay? And ask questions that help you see their world from a different perspective. This practice not only deepens your connection with other people, but it broadens your perspective so you can see the world in a different light. You can see the world with a new set of eyes and a new set of view. Okay? Leading from the bottom start with being a bridge, not a barrier. And that bridge is built on empathy. When people feel understood by you, they start to trust you. And with that trust comes influence. So seek to listen, not to be heard. Seek to listen, not to be heard. That is the last tip that I have for you today. All right, y'all. That brings us to an end to today's session on leading from the bottom. I truly hope that you are leaving with some new perspectives and practical tools that you can apply right where you are right now, no matter what your title or what your position is. Just remember that leadership isn't about authority. It's about influence. It's about the quiet power of showing up consistently, early, bringing solutions, building trust, and uplifting the people around you. True leaders don't wait for permission or a title. They create impact through actions, one day, one brick at a time. By understanding your company, staying focused, bringing value, and amplifying others, you're not just doing a job, you're making a difference. Okay? So I challenge you today, right now, to take even one of these tips or one of these steps that I've provided you and put them into practice this week. Start small, stay intentional, and watch how these actions add up and give you more value at work, give you more value personally, and even give you more value in your own community. When you begin to lead from wherever you are, you create a ripple effect that can transform everybody around you, your team members, your work colleagues, your friends, your spouses, everybody around you. Okay. So thank you all for tuning in to the podcast From Zero to Hero. If this episode inspired you, make sure to subscribe and share it with somebody who you may know that needs just a little nudge to start leading from the bottom. I hope you all have a fantastic week. And until next time, keep leading from the heart, y'all. Peace.